Don't think I've ever looked so rough. I am so tired. Wow, where do I start? I know a lot of you guys know, but I've had a bit of a rough time of it lately at the minute. So Stephen's in hospital. Stephen's my husband. I'll tell you this, I'll go through what happened so that you know the story basically. So on Saturday the, what day, I don't even know what day it is today. Second? Well, it was early hours of Sunday morning, so it would have been the 3rd. Stephen at about 1 AM on the Sunday got a massive blinding pain in his head. He put his head in his hands and was crying like a baby. He said, "I'm going to be sick," and he flew to the toilet, vomited a lot, pulled his head up and said, "I can't stand it," and had his head on his hands on the floor and couldn't lift up, continuously vomiting, doing the same, trying to get up to come to the bedroom, but as soon as he kind of stood up he wanted to vomit again, and he said the pain was horrendous. So that kind of went on for not very long. I was really quite concerned, and I said to him, "Look, I'm going to get an ambulance because this is not good at all. I'm really worried about you." And he agreed, so I called an ambulance. It took them about an hour and a quarter to get here, which felt like a lifetime. So the paramedics arrived, asked him if he could get up. He was in the bathroom, doubled over with his head on the floor in his hands, and they asked him if he could get up and they would help him, and he said he would try. He managed to get up, and he came to the bedroom and said, I'm going to be sick again. So I got a bucket, and he sat with a bucket while they were kind of working on him. So they were putting all sorts of needles in him. One of them was rehydration, another one was for pain. They were asking him about like food poisoning, dehydration. Shut this door. Sorry, I just shut the outside door just in case the neighbours were listening. Come here, Bubsy. Good boy. Careful. The dog's also injured, so I have to keep an eye on him. But yeah. Ow, that hurts. Good lad. So yeah, they were working on him for a while. I packed him up some stuff. I've got a son, like it's me, my husband and our son, so I stayed here while they took him to the hospital, because it was like, by that point it was about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. So I stayed here, I packed him up some stuff, and he called me in the morning. I didn't get any sleep, obviously. I didn't get any sleep whatsoever, so I was awake, and he called me in the morning and said they'd done something, they'd scanned him or something, and said he's got a bleed on the brain, and they would need to do, I don't know what it's called. It's a procedure where they go through the groin with a lot of not needles but wires. They take them from the groin to the brain and attach them to the brain and see what's going on. I think it's like a really in-depth scan. So they did that. Well, they admitted him to ICU after they had found out he had blood on the brain. Admitted him to ICU, hooked him up to everything, and then took him down for that procedure. So he's got a room on his own. He's got 24/7 nursing observation. So he's in a room, there's a nurse there on the station with a computer, and he's got all these like screens beeping, monitoring. He's got things here, he's got a needle in his artery, one in this top bit here and one in his artery here, and he's got another one here. Oh no, here, sorry, because he can't bend his arm. He's got one here, and he's just beeping all over the place. So yeah, they hooked him up and everything, and I was there before they took him for that procedure where they put everything through his groin and to his brain. So I stayed at the hospital when they took him down for that procedure and hung around for, I think it was 2.5 hours it took them. Brought him back and said the blood on the brain had not appeared to come from an aneurysm, which is a good thing. They didn't want to see an aneurysm. They didn't want to see anything that they needed to go in and remove, deal with. So they booked him in for a CT scan, which would have been the next day. I'm losing track of the days. I don't know what day it is. Yeah, so they obviously obs and things for throughout the day. He's been on constant pain relief because he had obviously pain in his head, and what they said was the blood is dissipating through the brain and the body, so he's having pain in different areas because the blood's kind of making its way here, there and everywhere. So they're having to like constantly, sorry, I don't know what's going on with my face. They're having to constantly monitor just in case. He's having to lie flat. He had to lie flat for a while. I think it was like a day and a half without moving, because that procedure, if you move in a certain position, you can damage you basically. So he's had to lie flat. He's fully conscious. He's talking. I had to feed him yesterday morning. Yesterday morning I had to feed him because he couldn't lift his arms, he couldn't do anything, so I was feeding him. And we gave him a bed bath yesterday evening, me and the nurse, so he would kind of feel fresher, because he's been obviously lying in the bed for forever. So yeah, he had his CT scan yesterday and that revealed the same, but they've sent the results of that off to a neuroradiologist, I think it's called. No, wait a minute, I'll get this right. Neuroradiologist. They sent them results off to a neuroradiologist for further checking to make sure they've got it correct, that he is the blood is dissipating into the rest of the brain and the body, kind of. Apparently that's what they want. That's what they want to see, is the blood going where it should go and not clumping in the brain too much, I think. So yeah, that he had his CT scan. He's starting to be allowed to sit up. He's going to be on bed rest. He's not allowed to stand up. He's being catheterized, which he didn't like at all. He said that was horrible, which I can imagine. So he's being catheterized, and yeah. What I'm trying to think what I'm trying to say. Yeah, he's being catheterized. He's got all these things hooked up. He's basically not allowed to get out of the bed for, they think, 2 weeks. Could be slightly less, but they're predicting 2 weeks that he's going to be in the bed. He's going to get a physio in the next week to see about movements while he's in the bed. Yeah, so that's kind of so far the update on him. It's, from my end, it's really tough because I've got my husband in hospital in critical care. I've got my son. Obviously I've been bringing Elliot in with me to see him. He's coming in today as well with me this morning to see him, but not always. My son's a teenager and he can be left on his own, so a lot of the time he's here while I go to the hospital. It's not ideal, but I don't want him to be hanging around the hospital all the time. So Elliot's feelings on going to see his dad. He didn't want to see his dad in a lot of pain on the night when it happened. He was kind of keeping himself in one of the rooms holding the dog, looking pretty terrified, to be honest. I had to keep going and telling him that everything will be okay, you know. He didn't want to come and see. He said, I asked him yesterday how he was feeling, and he said, I didn't want to see my dad in so much pain and torture because I think it would mess me up for life. Fair enough. Absolute fair enough. And then taking him in for the first time yesterday, he quite rightly was asking questions before we got there. I said, let me know what you want me to, like, I'll tell you what he's going to look like. I told him obviously he's hooked up, he's got a needle here, he's got a needle in his artery there, he's got a needle here, he's got things on his chest, there's beeping everywhere, there's machines, and there's a nurse, and it's going to look scary, but obviously he's going to be able to talk to you. I think it would have been 10 times worse if he was unconscious. Yeah. So Elliot obviously went in to see him. After we had visited and we were in the car, asked him how he felt, and he said, actually I feel a lot better now that I've seen him. He said, I think my imagination is a lot worse than actually seeing what he's like in person. So that's good. He's looking forward to seeing him again, so am I. All I'm thinking about is being there with him. But obviously I'm having to come home and see Elliot when he's not there as well. And it's a long time in a hospital. Hospitals are quite lonely places and bizarre places, actually. Like every hour or two the consultants are coming in and checking everything and asking the nurse what the obs are like, and they're having to bring his blood pressure down because his blood pressure keeps shooting up. Not shooting up, but it's higher than the range that they want it to be. They're trying to get his blood pressure into a certain range, and it's higher than what they want it to be. So he's having blood pressure medication, he's having a lot of pain medication, he's on Endone, Oxycontin, I think that's the other name for it, and a lot of other pain medication to keep him comfortable. So yeah, his mum and dad are flying out. They're coming tomorrow, so they'll arrive tomorrow night. It's Tuesday morning right now, and they're arriving on Wednesday evening. So I've been preparing the house. Elliot's been helping me. He's a lovely, lovely kid. He's been helping me clean the house. When I came back from the hospital yesterday, hello? My battery's flashing, and I just got a phone call from Stephen's HR, and I just explained everything to them. They're keeping him off for the rest of the year, obviously. So yeah, I was just talking to them. I just tried to call Stephen, but it just rang out, so he's obviously not able to answer. So yeah, my camera is flashing, and so I'm going to get off, and it's 9:25. Visiting hours are 10 AM till 8 AM. So I'm going to get off now and go and see him. I'm going to get Elliot up, and we're going to go and see Stephen now. So that's me, that's my update for now. And yeah, I just wanted to come on and explain where I am, what I've been doing and why, and to let you know, because I know you guys know us. You know all of us, not just me, and you might be worried. I'm going to update my boss as well on everything. So yeah, I'm going to sign out and go, and I'll keep you guys updated as much as I can. I love you. Bye.